Inmate Brown was currently in ambulatory restraints during the lieutenant's check at approximately 8 o'clock. The inmate became disruptive and assaulted the lieutenant while he's doing a 2-hour check. Authorization for immediate 4-point restraints has been given by the warden. We will now currently place the inmate in 4-point restraints.
What happens when 2 inmates, confined to a tiny cell for nearly 24 hours a day, reach their breaking point? For Royce Brown, a former inmate at USP Lewisburg, sharing a cell with someone known as a gunner, an inmate who engages in inappropriate behavior when female staff walk by, made an already difficult situation unbearable. During their 18 days together, tensions and frustrations continued to build. One morning, Brown's cellmate told him, "We can't live in the cell together no more. I'm gonna make them gas us." Brown, desperate to avoid further conflict, asked to be moved, but his requests were ignored. He knew there was only one way to force the guards to intervene. He needed to create a confrontation. Brown hit his cellmate a few times in front of the officers, knowing it would prompt an immediate response. The reaction was swift. More than 30 officers rushed down the tier, deploying pepper spray and pepper balls to break up the fight. Brown, struggling to breathe, surrendered and was taken out of his cell in restraints. As the officers tightened the cuffs around his wrists, ankles, and chest, Brown pleaded with them, saying, "I tried to deal with this the right way." But his pleas were dismissed, and he remained shackled for over 24 hours. Despite the turmoil, this incident highlights the extreme measures inmates sometimes take to escape difficult situations, actions that often lead to even more severe consequences. Welcome back to Chasing Crime. Today we're taking you inside USP Lewisburg, exploring the pressures and conflicts that can push inmates to desperate measures. USP Lewisburg is a high-security federal prison located in Union County, Pennsylvania, about 60 miles north of Harrisburg and close to the town of Lewisburg. The facility was established in 1932 and has been a significant part of the local landscape ever since. It is part of the Lewisburg Federal Correctional Complex. The prison complex is a major employer in the region, providing over 300 jobs to the local community. The prison can house approximately 1,500 inmates, but has often faced issues with overcrowding. The inmate population includes individuals convicted of a wide range of offenses, with a large percentage serving long-term sentences of 10 years or more. Many inmates are also repeat offenders, contributing to the facility's complex needs. The prison's location in central Pennsylvania places it within reach of major highways, making it accessible but relatively isolated from larger metropolitan areas. The facility is surrounded by rural landscapes, which contrasts sharply with high-security environment inside the walls. This remote setting contributes to the prison's reputation as a tough place to serve time, as inmates are far removed from urban support networks and resources. USP Lewisburg experienced a significant disturbance that escalated quickly. Reflecting the underlying tensions within the prison, the incident began in the mess hall when a group of inmates, frustrated by conditions and lack of responsiveness to their grievances, took control of a case of soda and barricaded themselves inside one of the dormitories. Determined to make a statement, they constructed a makeshift cannon, using a cue ball as a projectile. When the prison's response team attempted to regain control, the inmates fired the improvised weapon, shattering a reinforced window. The situation escalated as the inmates soaped the floors and turned a fire hose on the advancing response team, creating chaos and making it difficult for officers to maintain their footing. The prison's riot squad responded by shutting off the water supply and deploying tear gas throughout the unit. Once the situation was contained, the squad moved in to secure the inmates involved in the disturbance. In the aftermath, over 20 inmates required medical attention due to the injuries sustained during the confrontation. The entire unit was placed on lockdown, and many of the inmates involved in the incident were transferred to other facilities. Let's look at some further violence that has occurred at this facility. In August 2023, Lorenzo Scott was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison for a brutal 2015 attack on his cellmate, Larry McCullum, that ultimately led to McCullum's death. Scott, 51, from Rayville, Louisiana, had initially faced a murder charge, but it was reduced to assault with intent to commit murder, and assault resulted in serious bodily injury due to legal technicalities. Federal law bars a murder prosecution if the victim dies more than 1 year and a day after the initial assault, and McCullum passed away 2 years and 2 months after the attack, having been in a vegetative state since the incident. The violent assault occurred on March 25, 2015, when a correctional officer discovered Scott stomping on McCullum's head in their cell. Scott later admitted to stomping on his cellmate 48 times and stated his intent to kill. Despite Scott's admission, he showed no remorse, telling prison authorities that he killed him good and that he didn't want McCollum to turn out like me. At the time of the attack, Scott was serving the final years of a 14-year sentence for bank robbery. His attorneys argued for a placement in a special mental health unit to address his violent behavior, and the judge recommended that the Bureau of Prisons follow this suggestion. Scott currently faces additional charges for assault and attempted rape in a separate case, further complicating his legal situation. This case underscores the challenges of managing violent behavior in prison settings and the complexities of inmate mental health treatment within the federal system. What lengths do people go to smuggle contraband into the facility? James Terrell Hampton Smith, 36, from Baltimore, Maryland, was arrested after attempting to smuggle contraband into USP Lewisburg while wearing a ghillie suit. Prison staff spotted Hampton Smith crawling over a fence around 1:30 a.m. with a black duffel bag. His suit was meant to help him blend in, but he was quickly detected and apprehended. Inside the duffel bag, authorities found 19 THC vape devices, suspected synthetic marijuana, 121 unidentified pills, 120 nicotine vape pens, cell phones, and other items intended for inmates. Hampton Smith was charged with felony counts of possession with intent to deliver, criminal trespass, and related drug charges. This incident highlights the creative but risky measures people take to introduce contraband into high-security facilities like USP Lewisburg. Over the years, USP Lewisburg has housed some of the nation's most notorious and high-profile inmates, contributing to its reputation as one of the toughest prisons in the federal system. Among its infamous residents was Jimmy Hoffa, the powerful and controversial labor union leader who served time there in the 1960s for jury tampering and fraud. Hoffa's imprisonment made headlines due to his high-profile status and his continued influence on the labor movement from behind bars. Another notable inmate was John Gotti, the Teflon Don, and head of the Gambino crime family. Known for his flamboyant lifestyle and numerous legal battles, Gotti spent time at Lewisburg before being transferred to another facility. His presence at the prison drew significant media attention and underscored Lewisburg's role in housing high-risk and high-profile criminals. Larry Nassar, the former USA Gymnastics team doctor, responsible for one of the largest abuse scandals in sports history. Convicted of abusing over 300 young athletes under the guise of medical treatment, Nassar is now serving a lengthy federal sentence for his crimes. After an initial attack at another facility, Nassar was transferred to Lewisburg for heightened security, where he remains under close supervision. These high-profile inmates highlight the complex and varied history of USP Lewisburg. The mission of Lewisburg has changed over the years. In 2023, the facility formerly known as USP Lewisburg was officially renamed to Federal Correctional Institution Lewisburg to reflect its updated mission as a medium security prison. This reclassification is part of a larger initiative by the Bureau of Prisons to align facility names with their current security levels. FCI Lewisburg now houses around 654 male inmates and no longer functions as a high-security prison as it did in the past. The change comes after the 2021 relocation of the Special Management Unit to USP Thompson in Illinois, which marked a significant shift in the facility's role. The new designation aims to provide greater transparency and clarity for the public and inmates, ensuring that the institution's security level and purpose are accurately represented. As we've seen, FCI Lewisburg has a complex history, from notorious inmates to significant changes in its mission. While the reclassification to medium security marks a new chapter, challenges like inmate violence and contraband smuggling persist. What do you think? Will this change make a real difference? Or is it just a new label on an old problem? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Chasing Crime for more stories about America's most notorious prisons. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe.